relax our nervous system. So nice deep breath in, nice deep breath out. And Bethany's like me, after you do one breath, you start yawning. I'm exactly the same. As soon as I start doing it, I'll be yawning. So while you keep doing that, and while you're doing that, I'll just explain why this is really good. So when we exercise, we tap into our parasympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. No, the other way around. I get confused now. We tap into our sympathetic nervous system and our heart rate elevates, adrenaline gets pumping around our body, and we get excited, and it's our body's way of getting us ready, to do the exercise, and it stays in that nervous system state. So when our breathing's elevated, that's what, our body's, fight or flight mode, that's that side of it as well. So to come back out of it is really important because you want to be relaxed again afterwards. So we start breathing and tapping into the other side of our nervous system, which helps us relax. That's what we do when we're eating or sleeping. And it means that we can start to get into our recovery zones quicker, which is excellent. The quicker we can be in recovery zones, the better we recover, and it's excellent. So just do 3 more breaths here, nice and deep. Good. Okay, so we're just going to do some mobility in our neck and the rest of our spine. Do the best you can here. So just follow along with what I'm doing here. So we're just going to look down and then look up. Don't go full range of motion, just what you can do here. Just nice and gentle. If you start to feel a stretch, just stop there and then change and then go back up or back down. So the reason this is good is we live in a world where we're on our phones, computers, laptops, TVs, and our necks are sort of locked in place quite a lot. So it's good to get it moving the way it's meant to be moving. So just getting it through its 4 range of motions, which is, this one is flexion when we're looking down, and extension when we're looking up. And then we're going to go into the next one now, which is rotation. So that's looking over to one side and then looking over to the other. So this is rotation. And then we've got one more after this. So again, if you start to feel the stretch, just ease it off and then start going in the other direction. Good work. And then the last one, what we're going to do is the lateral flexion, where we go bring the ear towards the shoulder and then towards the other shoulder. Good stuff. So again, this is moving it through its 4th and final range of motion, or plane of motion, I should say. So that's good. So if we don't do this, the muscles in between the vertebrae start to tighten up. We start to restrict our movement, which means that it goes somewhere else, the movement, if we need to do it. And it can cause strain on other parts of our bodies, whether that's in our shoulders, in other parts of the spine. So we're making sure they're all moving as good as we can. Okay, so for the rest of the spine, we're going to do the same movement, but because the neck has got the vertebrae in, the rest of them got vertebrae in, so we're going to do the same movement throughout all of that. For the flexion extension, you're going to curl down the best you can, and then you're going to extend out the best you can. If that's too difficult in that position, you can just curl down here, and then go over sort of the back of your chair there as well. Yeah. I like to hold on to the frame here, and that helps me with doing these movements. If you get a spasm like me halfway through, just wait for it to ease off and then get back into it. Good. So this is the same as nodding that head up and down. We are flexing when we come down and extending when we come up. Good. Okay, so let's move on to the second movement here, which is the rotation. Oh, we lost Andrew. Is he still here? Okay, well, we're going to the next one. So it's rotating back and then rotating forwards the best you can here. So when you come back, you can get a bit of a stretch in the chest here as well, trying to get those shoulders round, and then forwards, reaching down, again, the best you can. Good work. Okay, let's change sides here. Catherine, with this one, if you can't move your arm all the way back, you can just do it with the shoulders here as well. So you can just move in the shoulders if you can't get the arm all the way back. And then at least you're getting that spinal rotation in without having to use the arm. Excellent work. So we did the flexion and the extension. This is the rotation. So this is the same as looking over each shoulder in our neck, but further down in the vertebrae. And now we're going to move into the lateral flexion, which is the same as when we went side to side there, but instead we're going to reach down to one side and then to the other. Try not to let your body come forwards during this. Try and keep it in line, just in the best range of motion you can do whilst your shoulders and hips are in the same plane here. Excellent work. Okay, let's give that a bit of a shake out. And I want to finish today by showing you a little thing, what I like to call a body scan. You may have done this before, may have not done it before. And all we're doing is literally just checking in with our body. Okay, so when in our busy lives that we all have, we often forget to actually listen to our body. So the idea of the body scan is to actually check in with the body, listen to it, and see what's going on. There's nothing we have to actually do here apart from just listen to what we're going through. So we're going to go through literally part by part. You know, if you, in the movies where they have those body scanners, the light that comes down and it goes over somebody's, it goes like and checks it all out. It's kind of like that, but mentally we're going to be doing that. So we're going to start with the top of our head. We're just going to just see how it's doing, basically. And I like to touch it because it's good, that connection is good to do with your hands, and just working our way down into our forehead. Maybe give the eyebrows a little wiggle, see how it's going. You might be like, oh, you know what? It feels like a headache might be coming on potentially, or not. Just checking in with it and then moving on to the next bit, which is down into our eyes. Just seeing how these are, are they heavier? Is that you might realize you're tired before you are, or you might not realize how tired you are. Moving down into your cheeks. For me, it's always achy after a session like this because I've been talking so much, so the cheeks are a little bit, like that. Moving into the jaw, and giving that a movement, and just seeing how it is. Let's move around to the neck at the top where it reaches into the head. And I'm just going to go down each bit, just bit by bit, going all the way down to eventually where it comes and touches the torso. Good. Let's go along the shoulders now, seeing how they are, and going into right to the edge, into the deltoid, to the muscle bits here. Maybe giving it a shrug, just seeing how it is. And it's also good as well, as you move down into like the biceps and the triceps now, maybe just give it a flex. It's good as well because sometimes when we got an injury in a place, say we got an injury in our elbow, we can put so much focus on that we forget there's other things going on in the body because, you're focused on that pain or whatever's going on. So checking in with the others, you can get an early detection as such of what's happening. It's kind of like those earthquake early detection things, just checking in and making sure that everything's okay. Going down into our wrists, our forearms and our wrists, and maybe just giving them a wiggle. So for me, I can always tell by doing this, when this wrist starts to hurt a bit more, because I can check in and it goes, oh, it's a bit stiffer. That's probably going to hurt tomorrow or the next day. So it's good to do that. Then down into your fingertips and seeing how those are. Good. Coming back now into the torso here, so the chest area. So just you can go forwards or backwards, and just checking how it is. Excellent. Okay, and moving around to the upper back. So just between the shoulder blades sort of area, see how that's doing. Moving the way down the spine. So just seeing how this, and now obviously for me and some of you as well, you know, you're starting to get to bits where you can feel less and less. Do not worry about the fact you can't feel it. It's still good to check in. It might feel, you know, you might sense something different. There might be restrictive movement or whatever it is. So just checking in there and moving around to our belly, seeing how the digestive system's doing. Good. And then into our hips. Maybe give them a bit of a wiggle if you can. Excellent. And then into our upper legs. So for me personally, I can't move or feel my legs, so I just like to give them a little wiggle, see if it's tight or if there's any restrictive movement there as to normal. Moving into the knees, seeing how they're doing. Into the lower legs. Into the ankles. And finally the feet and then the toes. So just sending like information down there, seeing everything's coming back. And then we're just going to come back to our breathing now. So nice big deep breath in and out. In. 2 more in your own time. Good. So with those body scans, now, obviously, if that's the first time you've ever done it, you might not notice anything straight away. But say if you did that once a week, you could almost check in with your body and see like, oh, you know what, this isn't quite the same as it was last week. And you can preemptively prevent something like an injury, or you can maybe sense something that's going on a little bit sooner. So even in your digestive system, checking in there, go like, oh, you know what, it feels a bit firmer in this area. Maybe I'm going to have a gassy day over the next day or something, or so you can prepare for these things early, and you know it could be something that you can really help your body to overcome. So it could be like, oh, my elbow's starting to feel a bit creaky. I'll give it a rest tomorrow, and that could prevent an injury that you could do tomorrow. So yeah, it's good to do that, and as you do it more often, you'll get more used to how your body is, and you'll learn how to communicate with it. So it's good to just check in. I just wanted to throw it in there at the end. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and if you've got any questions, feel free to